Hello and welcome everybody to today's ODTN use case steering team call. This call is recorded and will be published on YouTube as per usual. The first thing I want to point everybody at is the finalized ONF Connect schedule. You can see the full schedule here. It includes all the 3 days that we have of conference, and on the Tuesday actually, so the fourth, the first day, previous of the conference, there are a few tutorials if you guys are interested in participating in those. But the rest, it includes all the different talks we have submitted. In particular, I want you guys to point out that the ODTN track. So thanks for everybody who submitted and who have talks here. So there's going to be a brief introduction and update from myself. An advancement in TAPI from the TAPI team, so Puneet, Andrea, and Lyndon, and somebody else from the TAPI team. Then we have Juniper's talk from Domenico and Gert, that is third talk. Then we have Sterlight's talk, Fujitsu's talk for their transponders that they submitted. Then there is a Sterlight from Puneet. Thanks for submitting that. Then there is a talk from Nokia, given probably by Kwan, but is work done from everybody in the team of Dominique and others. So that's pretty good. And then last of all, we have a talk from the Chestnut guys about ROADMs. It's a little bit outside of the current scope of ODTN, but I think it's a pretty interesting talk nonetheless. Also, there was actually an eighth submission that we wanted inside the conference, and that was some work that PL Vision is doing on porting and exposing the ODTN capabilities on top of the Cassini box to Stratum. So that is in the conference. It's just under the next gen SDN talk because we did finish the ODTN track sessions, so we did add it to the next gen SDN talk, which is where Stratum belongs. So this is also there, and it's part of the ODTN set of tracks and talks that are going to be at Connect. So feel free to look it up. This is the schedule. See if anything interests you, and I hope it does. I think it's a very good set of content, and I think there is some very interesting things. I will also have an update on the general state of the project, a few of the collaborations we're having, and I'm probably gonna have a bit of a discussion with the tip people to see if they also have a possibility of joining my talk to do a little bit of a discussion about that. Any thoughts, any questions? No? Okay. Thanks for that. Regarding the ONF Connect demo, we're still making sure that everything is properly set up. I might have a call with Victor again in the Telefonica lab to see how the integration is going, but this is how it's probably gonna shape up, and the equipment. I met with Dominique from the Nokia team to see how their stuff is doing. They're having a discussion with Victor. From the Infinera Corient team, that looks like they may be possible for them to join locally at ONF Connect and not remotely within Telefonica with their Groove G30 platform. That's still up for debate. It's not being fixed yet. I know also Adva has been doing a very good job in integrating their transponders, so I'll talk about them a little bit later. And so there might be also Adva transponders here, so that's pretty good. The discovery of the Adva has been done, is just yet to be tested in terms of provisioning. Okay, so that's that. Any questions? Any updates from anybody? Oh, Okay. Then, if you're ready, Adib, I'll turn the presentation to you to showcase the documentation work you have done. That was based on the previous work that Buyan did. We did a little bit of refactoring and reorganization to make sure that the content was up to date and present in just one place, so we didn't have to update it in many places. Adib, I'll turn the presentation to you. Is that be fine?
Yes. Yes. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly fine.
All right. Okay. So in the last week, I was working on updating documents and go through all of the content to make sure that everything works fine. So if you look at this page, we have a develop for ODTN page, and there are sub pages under this page. Most of the content related to the development stuff, so have been organized under develop for ODTN. So I updated the developer guidelines with newer stuff. We have information about how to set up ONOS and also which applications will be needed to be exported for the ODTN application. After this step, the first good starting point for the developers is to look at the ODTN emulators page. So if you go to this page, which is the third link, so we have information about two kinds of ODTN emulators that are publicly available in the GitHub repository, and we have a link to the repository here. So what I did, I organized all of the documents related to the ODTN emulators under the GitHub repository in Markdown pages. So if you look at the ODTN emulator GitHub repository, I created a folder called docs, and all of the documents related to the ODTN emulators have been organized here. So we can update them easily, but we have pointers in the wiki pages wherever needed. For example, here we have a user interface for ODTN tutorial. So if we go to this page, so this tutorial is about how can we use ONOS and ODTN together, and graphical user interface of ONOS for ODTN. So there is a link here which points to one of the Markdown pages in the ODTN emulator repo. So if we go to this page, we have all of the instructions how we can set up the environment or do the topology discovery, and then we also have an example of the GUI version 2 and its usage for the ODTN project. So also there is another example, power config configuration via netconf tools. So the previous example, user interface, shows that how we can use user interface to update, for example, the power. But here is an example of using netconf console to perform operations on the device. So specifically on Cassini device. So we have instructions, we have pointers to how to set up the environment, and I also updated the content. Another thing that I did in the previous wiki pages, we didn't have pointers to the files. I updated all of the documents to have pointers to the required files. For example, if you would like to get components from the device, so we have a file get component, and this is an XML file. You will see, you can see the content here. You can also have access to the content of the file here, which is organized under the emulator test. So all of the required files for the netconf console have been organized here with sample output. So this is another example. I updated all of the content, and I made sure that everything works fine. So I also updated the generate netconf emulator. So this is a tutorial which explains how you can create a netconf emulator yourself. All of the steps have been explained. I also provided pointers to the files that you need to create. So there are sample files like Docker file that we have here. So you can use this Docker file as a base to start with. And there are also pointers to the scripts that you need to use. So like this one, import yang files, shell script, and the output. And also there is a script push data that is which pushes the data into the device. So it's under the emulator repo. So this is my update. So, and if you have any questions, any comments, you can also go through the details. If you find any mistake or something doesn't work for you, please send a message to the ODTN Slack group, and I will take a look and I will take care of it. Any questions, comments?
Thanks, Adib, for making these adjustments, and thanks to Buyan previously for making the content itself. That was good content that was just needed to be organized a little bit. There are a few things which we might need still to be done. I was thinking that actually we could move the ODTN create emulator page to GitHub, because that actually is very specific to the code that is in there, in GitHub I mean, and we probably need to update the power configuration page with ONOS commands to do that, because those commands really pertain to the device itself, while we also need to show the commands that you can have on ONOS to issue power configuration. So that's a few things we need still to do, but there's a lot of good content and there's a lot of good organization that was done. So thanks a lot, Adib, for doing that.
All right.
I'll take back presentation rights if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Before we go forward, any questions, any thoughts, anything else that you would like to see in the documentation that is not there? No? Okay, then I'll go forward. So from a GeoStory point of view, I just want to point out that we did close the consolidate wiki pages that was assigned to Adib. I did add a story for 8017. This is for the Adva transponder integration. I had a call with Jakub from Adva. He's doing a very good work at integrating the Adva transponder with that is exposing OpenConfig interfaces with ODTN. He already has the device showing up in the ONOS UI and showing up the ports, not only the line side, but also the other type of ports that the Adva transponder has. I now discuss with him what is the best course of action to integrate it further, so including the other behaviors and stuff like that. So he's doing that in the next few weeks, so I'm pretty happy about it. I also had a discussion with the people, I forgot to put in here, with the people from Infinera Corrient, so Paulo Gomes, if that is the right pronunciation, I hope. He's also looking at integrating the Groove G30, which is an OpenConfig northbound interface with ONOS. He's also started looking at the models. He had a proposal regarding the OTN ODU extension for the base driver in order to account for that level of granularity that they expose to their version, their northbound OpenConfig. This is a standard OpenConfig construct. It's something that we skipped in previous phases of ODTN because it was not really required. But if the people from Infinera and Corrient are gonna update it, I'm gonna be very happy about it. Then I know Buyan came back from his trip to China, so he's gonna work on again storing the connectivity service on the device to be able to then retrieve it for the TAPI emulator, and probably doing a little bit of work regarding the power configuration commands and a few other minor things. Then then the Sterlite work, which I will ask Puneet later about it, and that was about it on the technical work that is going on. Any questions? Okay. Then Puneet, can you give us an update, or Chitan, whatever, whoever can give us an update on the work that you guys have been doing regarding the modulation? That would be more than welcome. Puneet, Chitan, can you give us an update? Yes, very faint. Can you speak closer to the mic?
Am I audible now?
Yes, perfectly fine. Thanks.
Yeah, so with ODTN, we have delivered the code for modulation, but the Jenkins build is failing because of some certain rules that we need to follow. So we have to update those and then resubmit, like commit, amend that code. So it is, the code is already present, so you can review it and provide comments, and we'll change it accordingly. But for Jenkins to pass, we have to edit the code, like certain rules. So, and
Okay.
for now, the modulation threshold is hard coded. No, OSNR threshold is hard coded for now.
Okay.
So later, the plan would be at least to get the modulation threshold from the device itself. So that maybe we'll plan it
Okay.
some
I
other time.
think, yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for the update.
and the channel spacing is also hard coded for now.
Okay, I see. That's fine. So
So
thanks for
that's
the
it from my
update.
side.
I encourage everybody to take a look at the patch. I have not seen it myself, so I'll have to take a look at that. Please, everybody, do check this and make sure that it also works with your OpenConfig device, or if you have comments, if you have thoughts, please do check this. One thing that would be interesting is probably adding a CLI, just like as a short check of the patch. I'll do some more comments.
Under this at Puneet, able to hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine, Puneet.
Yeah. So we can, whatever we have presented last time in a call, right, regarding that the workflow, right. So the code what we have submitted is basically aligned to that only. So the only thing which Chetan is saying that WISNR part, which is basically pending, and that is basically not available on that open config side as well, that the data model side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So apart from that, I think all things are there in the code part. But I want to raise one more point here, right? Right, last time we also raised that the open config data model, which we have included, right? Some of the leaves we have included in that Yang model file, and we have given that to the team. But as of now, it's actually as of now, it's not been actually reached to the right sort of people there in open config, right?
Yeah,
I
saw an email this morning from the OpenConfig group. So I probably need to follow up about that. I unfortunately did not have time to dive into the thread, but I'll do that in the next few days. So I'll weigh in myself to see if there.
So I haven't.
Sorry, Puneet, come again.
Yeah, I'm saying I have one, suggestion here that whatever the Yang file we have modified, we will actually upload it, in that ODTN, right? That the ticket what we have opened, and if anybody will comment on that piece, that is that the leaves what we are adding is basically aligned to your plans as well, then it will be really good for us to at least take that up to the open config.
Yeah, okay, and you mean these two files, the openconfig terminal device.yang and the openconfig transport types.yang. Is that what you're mentioning?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
There are certain more things we are adding. I think we'll update it accordingly, right?
Okay, so yeah, I'll encourage everybody to take a look at this. I'll do it myself. It was uploaded just yesterday, just with a very easy look. I think it's fine. And it's much better than what was device specific before. So I think it's interesting. It's a proper submission to have. So let's do an internal review of this. If somebody from also like the people from Adva, the people from Telefonica, and the rest of the team, Kevin from Juniper, everybody can take a look at this and see if this is something that makes sense to you guys or not. I think we would be very happy to hear them. And since they are up for review here, we can comment on them and see if this makes sense in terms of going to the OpenConfig community. It is what we are proposing, but I think that with the backing of has been discussed in this group and with this set of people, I think it's going to be stronger for them to receive.
Andrea, this is Arturo.
Yes.
So at the end, I have a question regarding this this augmentation you are doing to the models. The plan is to push this into the OpenConfig community, or it has been already discussed already, and which is the status right now?
So the idea is yes, to push them to the OpenConfig community. Meaning that what we want to do is really have this in the standard model. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I would like that to happen because I think both of this SNR container and the modulation format, it's really something that the standard could benefit from. We started reaching out to a few people inside OpenConfig community for getting their feedback, and there's an initial back and forth, a few emails. This is what I mentioned before, and now we just have to find the right channel to convey this message to them. It's not set in stone. It's not the DZN files are the ones that are going to go to the OpenConfig community, but at least we have a proposal to show them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, would like to know and to follow, which is also the answer from them. As I think I mentioned it last week, this is quite similar to a proposal I made a couple of months, several months ago, and their answer were a little bit against it. But I do agree with this proposal, so I will be very interested in follow up.
Okay. If you can comment on this, maybe with your feedback that you received from your old proposal, or augmenting it with something that you had previously, I would be very happy to. I think everybody was going to be very happy to see your contribution. I'm going to include you in the email and keep you up to date.
Yes, I can maybe forward you the right point to the. I think there is an issue. It was closed in the public or in the private OpenConfig community repository, and I think that is going to continue to contain all the, let's say, the resume of the discussion we had. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, I think that's yes. So I think thanks for the patch, and I think it's the right approach because I see here the modulation config behavior, and this is just one implementation. So if we ever have to change it, we would change the implementation, and everybody can provide his own. So I'll take a peek at this probably like later today or tomorrow morning, so I can definitely give some feedback. Encourage everybody to do it. It's very important. Okay. So Arturo, do you have any update on the ZTE drivers? I have not heard from them about their contribution to the ODTN.
Unfortunately, I didn't. I sent a mail to them last week right after the call we had, and didn't receive any update.
Okay.
We'll try it again during this week.
Okay. Yeah. If you need also, please do include me in that email. I would be happy to see if I can push them also from my side or help them maybe because they're hitting some barrier to contribution to the ONOS repo from China. I know it's difficult because they don't use all the tools that we do use. So there's a bit of things that China is a little bit different from what we can do in terms of like Google Drive or like Gerrit. There might be hitting some issues because of that. So please do include me in the discussion and let's get them in as soon as possible. Okay. So Tapi, before I ask if there is an update from anybody on the group, I'll give my update. I did check the Tapi UID generation in ONOS, and it is already done according to RFC 4122. It's just in the Tapi flow root programmable. Every time we issue a connectivity service, we generate a random UID that we save. So we are now fully compliant with the fact that the UID should be client generated for the connectivity service. So that's done. I think it's settled, and it's implemented into ONOS too. Then is there an update from the Tapi team? I don't see anybody really on the call, but maybe Arturo, you can give us a brief update if you joined today's call.
Yeah, well, the call was very quick and discussed what the conclusion was that the both versions 2.2 and 2.12 were going to be released by the end of this month. I think that there is no stopper right now. I think that it's going to be during this week, I hope.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, do you have an update on the OpenAPI spec?
Not sure which is the point.
I think this is the Swagger API that the Tapi team maintains. Okay.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I think that that it was not discussed today. Well, my latest understanding of this is that this is somehow preserved based on the current tool that is being used in order to convert the YAML files into the Swagger API or OpenAPI spec. And I don't really know which is the issues that you are mentioning. I mean, if this is related to the RESTconf or not, I didn't follow this discussion, sorry.
Okay, I think then we need to wait for Karthik or Lyndon, somebody to give us an update on this. So that's okay. Okay, thanks. Kevin, any update on the GMPY tool? I don't have any. Unfortunately, I have my plate full at the moment, and I cannot really follow up on this.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any update today. I started to follow up with Gert this week to see if he had any updates, but I haven't got any response yet. So I think it's still where we were last time, which is kind of parked, but I started to chase it up.
Okay. Okay, thanks. I think that's everything I had. A little bit of an update on the next generation ONOS. So we're going along. The system is getting done very well. I think I like it very much. If you guys are interested in joining, there has been a few updates since last time, and that they're all being uploaded to YouTube through the Gerrit, like TST meetings uploaded to YouTube. Kind of what we do here, which we do show some demos and stuff like that. Any questions? Oh, okay. Does anybody have any update to give about the work they're doing? Anything that you guys want to discuss? Okay. Then if not, thanks for joining the call. It was a little bit shorter than usual, but I think it was productive. I'll upload the recording as soon as usual to the mailing to the YouTube channel if anybody wants to check it. Let's continue offline the work for the ONF Connect demo and anything else that needs to be done. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.